We shall next discuss depth first search. Given an undirected graph, say something like this, we wish to explore the vertices in depth first fashion. For example, say there are this many vertices. Let me start, say, DFS at the node 1. So it is DFS, which means when we start at 1, it is depth. So we list exactly one neighbor of 1. Say, let me list 3. So initially all vertices are labeled unvisited, and as we explore, we mark them, we label them visited. So we start with 1, and among all its neighbors, you can arbitrarily choose any one. Let me choose 3. And it is depth, so which means we visit exactly 1. Then with respect to this, look at any one unvisited neighbor of 3. So let me take, say, 4. With respect to 4, look at any one unvisited neighbor of 4, say 5. With respect to 5, it is 6. Because it is depth, we keep moving down until we cannot move any further. Now at this point in time, you see that we cannot proceed any further. So we do something called backtracking. So at this point in time, we backtrack and go to the immediate parent. Then from that immediate parent, we continue the DFS process. So from this we ask for some other unvisited neighbor. Answer is yes. So explore 7. Now starting from 7, explore DFS, but there are no other unvisited neighbor of this. So again we backtrack and go here and check, are there unvisited neighbor of 5? Answer is yes, which is 2. So we explore 2. 2 is unvisited. So from 5 we explore that. From 2 you see that 8 is unvisited, and 9 is unvisited, and 10 is unvisited. Okay. Suppose the graph is having some more vertices, something like this. So 11, 12, 13, 14. Then from this no further DFS, we backtrack and go here. From this no further DFS, from this no further DFS. So like that we move. With respect to 5, all its neighbors are visited. No unvisited neighbor of 5. And then we backtrack, we go to 4. With respect to 4, no unvisited neighbor. Then we go to 3. When we go to 3, we find 11. So we explore 11. Then with respect to 11, it is 12. 12, it is 13. And no further DFS from this. So like this, if you backtrack and you go all the way up to the root, then explore 14. So the idea is this: fix a vertex and start exploring the graph in depth first fashion. So meaning explore one neighbor, and at each time exactly one neighbor. Like that we move down. When DFS cannot proceed any further, you backtrack to immediate parent and see, can we explore other neighbors of other unvisited neighbors of 5? Answer is yes. And no further DFS, again backtrack, and you still have an unvisited neighbor of 5, which is 2, and then continue. So like that, when no further DFS from 5, we backtrack to 4, and then we backtrack to 3, continue this, go to root and so on. Fine. And suppose the graph itself is like this. Let's look at this graph. So all three are part of the graph. Now suppose we run DFS starting from say some node, say starting from 5. Then starting from 5 we explore 6 and then no further DFS with respect to this, backtrack and then explore 7. Now at this point in time you backtrack and you see that no further DFS with respect to 5, but the graph has still unvisited vertices. This part is unvisited, this part is unvisited. So if that's the case, you choose one arbitrary unvisited vertex. You can choose any one. So let me take say 9. And then run DFS starting from 9 and explore the neighbor of this, say 10. No further DFS from this, backtrack and then explore this, backtrack and explore this. And you see that you still have unvisited vertices. So choose any one. So let me choose 4 and starting from 4 we visit 3, then we visit 2, then we visit 1. And no further DFS. And now you see that all vertices are visited. You can stop the procedure. So very similar to what we have seen before in the context of BFS. If we get just one component, then it is a tree, DFS tree. If you have more or collection of DFS trees, then it is called DFS forest. And similar to BFS, there are interesting applications like cycle testing, connectedness, and test for even cyclicity, odd cyclicity. All such questions can be answered using this as well. Okay. So in the context of breadth first, BFS, we were maintaining missing edge set. And then we further classified them into cross edges, slanting edges and so on. So let's focus on missing edge set in this. Let's look at this 1, 3. So you see that 1 and 13, the edge in the graph but not in the tree. So this is a missing edge. Then you see that 2, 3, 4, 5, this 2, 3 is an edge in G but not here. Then this is done. 1, 2, there is an edge in G but not here. So this is also a missing edge. So that's all we have. Now if you look at this one, 4 to 1, 2, 4, 3 and then 2, 1. Fine. And which one is missing? So 4, 3 there is an edge, 1, 2 there is an edge, 1, 3 there is an edge. So starting from 4 we go to 3 and then so it is this way. I'm sorry, this is 1 and after that it is 2. Okay. So which means from 4 we go to 3, from 3 we go to 1, from 1 we go to 2. This one is a missing edge. Correct? So now we see that each missing edge gives you a cycle. And these edges are called back edges. From somewhere down, we have an edge to the parent or ancestor. So these edges are called back edges. So we have a DFS tree, so something like this. Then you see that there is a missing edge from some descendant to some ancestor, say with respect to this vertex. Say from descendant to some ancestor. So all these edges are called back edges. And interestingly, each back edge is giving us a cycle in the graph. For example, this edge says 3, 4, 5, 2. That's a cycle in the graph. And you may even get a cycle using more than one missing edges. For example, more than one missing edge. In this case, it is 1, 2, 3. That's a cycle. And 1, 3, 11, 12, 13. That's a cycle. So interestingly, each missing edge is giving us a cycle. So in this case, 4, 3, 1, 2. And further, one can count the length also. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which means the cycle created due to this missing edge is an odd cycle. Now if you look at this one, it is 1, 2, 3. So that is a cycle of length 3. If you look at this one, 3, 4, 5, 2, it is a cycle of length even. So using missing edges, in particular back edges, one can answer test for cyclicity, and subsequently one can answer whether the graph contains even cycle or odd cycle and so on. And the other thing is, if you look at the DFS, if DFS is a forest, then what we get, the underlying graph is disconnected. If you get a DFS tree for a given graph, then the underlying graph is connected. So popular applications are we can test whether a graph is connected or not. So if DFS tree, then G is connected. If DFS forest, then G is disconnected. Then test for cyclicity. If back edge, then there exists a cycle. So test for cyclicity is if there exists a back edge, then there exists a cycle. Test for odd and even cyclicity can be answered using this. Once we know there exists a cycle and count the length, from that we can answer whether it is an odd cycle or even cycle. The presence of back edge tells you that there exists a cycle, and then count the length of the cycle. With that one can answer whether it is odd cycle or even cycle. So in this context, in the context of DFS, we have just one set, and all missing edges are back edges. Whichever edge is appearing in the tree, that is called a tree edge. So this we call it as a tree edge. And something that is not appearing, non-tree edges, right? Non-tree edges are called back edges in case of DFS. And non-tree edges are called either cross edge or a slanting edge in the context of DFS. There are a couple of other applications which you can answer using DFS, which we shall see next.